Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home.
Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. I am Amy, and I am joined by my friends Phil, Scott, and Kathleen. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hello,
guys.
hello.
Welcome aboard, Clubbers.
How's everyone doing? Well, it's tonight when we're recording this, but
It's after my bedtime.
I
Doing
know.
pretty good tonight.
Wonderful.
I'm keeping everyone up late because I had a previous engagement that took place, and this was the only time we could record this week. So it's 8:45 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and everyone probably looks like they're ready to call it a night. But we're gonna talk about one of everyone's favorite Disney topics, and that is Disney dining.
Before we get too far, has anyone noticed that Amy is exceptionally careful with her intro since her surprise back at like episode 9 or 10?
Listen, that was a moment of weakness.
A moment of weakness.
And I have worked very hard to not have another one of those. So thank you for noticing. I appreciate it.
I had so much fun putting that intro together.
I had so much fun listening to it because that was one that you didn't send to us beforehand. So I listened to it once it was had gone live, and I was listening to it in my car and cracking up.
I do what I can.
So anyway, to get back to the matter at hand, tonight we are talking about one of the favorite topics that people love talking about when they talk about Disney, and that is Disney dining. And so tonight we've decided that we're going to do a series on theme park restaurants, specifically table service restaurants, and we're going to break it into 2 episodes. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes tonight, how much we talk. um, but tonight we're going to talk about restaurants, table service restaurants at the Magic Kingdom and at Animal Kingdom. Just kind of share our thoughts about what we think about the restaurants, maybe what we think they could do better, what they need more of, what they need less of. So, shall we start with Magic Kingdom,
Sure.
the OG park?
Yep.
Well, it's probably the first or second worst table service theme park on property, so we might as well get it over with quickly, right?
I'll go first.
Do
I
it.
have my list here.
You're very efficient and prepared for
Yes.
this.
She did her homework.
I did my homework. So for Magic Kingdom table service, I have not ate at every restaurant at Magic Kingdom. So this is just from the restaurants that I have ate at. And I'd have to say my number one table service at Magic Kingdom might be an unpopular opinion, but it is Tony's Town Square.
Wow.
Well, that probably, if you had said that to me 1 year ago, I probably would have said that's bananas. But it really has it really has risen up for me on my list. A year ago, I would have said that it was Skipper's Canteen, that was, my number one go-to at Magic Kingdom. And in fact, I just recently passed my 60-day window for my February trip. Well, I guess it was a month ago now, but I was trying to decide between going to Skipper Canteen and Tony's Town Square. And I ended up deciding to book a dinner reservation for one night and then a lunch reservation for another day, for those 2 restaurants because I'm staying at Copper Creek. So I'm going to be in the Magic Kingdom area. And I actually really have grown to love Tony's. It has become something that is become not it's not just about the food. For me, it's like I've had like really good experiences there lately. So, as we always talk about the feels, I got the feels there and now I kind of am bitten by that bug. What do you love about it, Kathleen?
I like the atmosphere there. I like the service has always been good when we go there. I love what's the appetizer we get there?
I was gonna
The
say,
garlic
let's
bread.
not talk about the atmosphere. Let's get to the real reason. It's that tower of garlic bread with the boat of cheese sauce.
Yes, that is pretty good. They
You
do.
have my attention.
Oh, it's
Exactly.
so good, so good. They also have my wine I like there.
Your Moscato.
My Moscato. It's really good there.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I like Tony's, but I don't think I would really consider that to be my number one. I think if I'm gonna pick, I'm probably gonna get crucified for this, but I'm gonna go with Be Our Guest. I think people knock it, but I feel like it's overall best food at Magic Kingdom and a pretty cool experience too.
Well, I'm gonna have some choice words for that, but
I figured,
Make that two of us.
yeah, here we go.
I feel like Be Our Guest for me is it's my old Key West.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and they rhyme, so that's really convenient.
I like that. I like the atmosphere in Be Our Guest. I like it in there. It's pretty. It's too dark for me.
It's a castle. It's the Beast Castle. I mean,
Mhm.
they themed it perfectly with the different rooms that
It's
you can
pretty.
eat in.
It is.
And I don't think the food is that bad. I mean, you can get a really good French onion soup. You can get a really good filet in the dessert trio that they have with the gray stuff. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like
It's
it's
delicious.
yes, it's delicious. But I feel like it's just so underrated and people have such, people knock on it so bad, but what else are you going to get at Magic Kingdom?
I have literally called it my least favorite table service restaurant in all of Walt Disney World, not just
It is
Magic
on
Kingdom.
my list as my least favorite restaurant in Magic Kingdom. It
Ooh,
was the bottom of the list for me.
this is where I sign off. Goodbye.
So I think you're right. I think theming wise, it's phenomenal. I think you walk in, it's absolutely stunning right from the stained glass at the entrance. I've taken some beautiful photos in front of that stained glass. I think the dining rooms, the different wings are fantastic. I think the rows transforming with the kids just watching it wide eyed is fantastic. The lightning outside the windows, theming wise, the ceiling is beautiful. But to me, I think Amy called it her old Key West. It's my Bay Lake Tower. It has so much promise and so much potential, and it seems like it should be the absolute perfect place. And then you walk in, and I just find the food to be incredibly underwhelming. I think the French onion soup is good. I think it's really difficult to mess up a fillet, and the gray stuff is just gray sugary frosting with some pearls sprinkled on top.
But it's so good.
It's just sugar.
It's the gray
I
stuff.
feel like the price tag for that restaurant is just outrageous. And I get that you're paying for being in the Beast Castle and for that experience that Phil just described. But from a food quality standpoint, it has no business being as expensive as it is. And I think that is my gripe is that it is so expensive. And I just find the food to almost I mean, my experiences have been I feel like it's like mass produced catering hall food. And it's just for that price tag, it just does not do it for me. The other thing is that as beautiful as it is, that place is like chaos central. Trying even if you have a reservation, you are being like herded like cattle in that front lobby area. It feels like it even I don't think that I've ever been seated on time there. They're always seating me late, and it just feels like there's people everywhere. And it kind of has that clanky sound with, like, the forks on the plates, maybe because it's got the high ceilings, but there's just something about it in there that just feels very rushed and harried, and for as beautiful as it is, it just I don't feel like I can fully appreciate it because it feels like chaos to me.
I've had different experiences depending on which dining room I'm in. I have had that experience where I feel like everything is loud and chaotic if I'm in the main, I don't know what the main part of it is called, that the middle part of it. But if I'm in like the West Wing or I don't know what it's called, the other dining room
That
off to the
the
side.
music box room.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's quite as chaotic or loud over there. But I just kind of picked it, I guess, out of default because I feel like every other restaurant at Magic Kingdom is pretty similar to what you just described as far as being herded in and, a bunch of people waiting for their table. I don't know. I picked it just because I think it's unique with its theming and feels right. It's hard to mess up a filet, but a good filet is a good filet, and you get what you pay for. And that experience and the theming and everything, to me, is worth the money over something. And I'm going to go outside of a theme park, but I'm going to talk about Topolino's, where you don't get the theming and you don't get the cool experience, but you're still paying an astronomical price for food that is arguably not that good. It's still a filet at Topolino's, but I don't know. I guess that's why I picked it, just because I feel like it's the best themed restaurant in Magic Kingdom.
Well, I'll see you point for point with mine, but first, Amy mentioned it, and I think this is what puts it in perspective for me, and I know that it might for you. It's $222 for me to go with my wife and kids to have dinner at Be Our Guest. That's before any drinks, that's before gratuity. I can take a 15-minute walk or a 5-minute ride on a boat and be at Narcoossee's and spend the same amount of money on dinner and have a Narcoossee's meal over a Be Our Guest meal, and that's just what kills it for me.
But you're not going to eat in a castle, Phil.
With the beast.
Yeah.
According to you, Grand Floridian is the next best thing to a castle, so
Well, we're talking about theme parks, so yes, you're right. I would
It's not
definitely.
the crown jewel, Scott.
and again, I know we're talking about theme park restaurants, but that's just where Be Our Guest falls short for me. Is there's so many other amazing options close by at a similar price point that I just can't see myself sitting inside the castle at the theme park. And we've done it. Everyone's done it. My daughter wanted to go do it. They had the Bell meet and greet. You could take a photo with her. We've done breakfast there. We've done lunch there. We've done dinner there. But just for food quality, for 200 plus dollars, I would much rather go have a Narcoossee's meal and sit looking out at the water than go to the castle. And that's just, unfortunately, that's where Magic Kingdom falls short in their biggest challenge is you've got some reasonably good meals there, but there's some really, really good meals very close where if you're willing to leave the theme park, if you're a well-traveled Disney guest, there's some amazing choices that are very close by that I just can't justify a lot of the theme park.
I mean, that being said, if I was talking to a first timer who was going to Disney World with their kids, I would tell them, "Yes, you should go there, bring your kids, let them see it one time." I feel like for me, it is the ultimate one and done experience because you go in, you see it, and once you've seen it, you've seen it. Nothing's gonna change about it. And I agree with you. I would much rather spend my money on much better quality food someplace else that's very close. And to go back to talking about Tony's is pretty reasonably priced. And, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is like the best Italian food and I'm going to go there because I want to sit down for excellent Italian food. But I will say that I think that the things that they've recently added to the menu, like they have Kathleen and Scott were talking about the garlic bread tower. They also have a tomato and mousse salad that's pretty good. Those 2 items alone, for me to just get those 2 things, are both appetizers, and sit outside, get a glass of red wine. They have a really nice Chianti there that I like, and overlook Main Street USA. That to me is even better than being inside the Beast Castle. Sitting outside overlooking Main Street USA with the Dapper Dan singing in the background, it just that just feels like Disney World to me. That feels like the Magic Kingdom, being able to be out there, seeing the cast members holding the balloons, those clear balloons with the Mickey head balloons inside, like, I just love the aesthetic of that, like, the big bunches of balloons. That to me is, like, such Disney Magic Kingdom vibes that's why I think recently it's really moved up to the top of my list because if I accept the fact that Magic Kingdom overall, you don't go to Magic Kingdom to eat, like for great dining. So accepting that fact, I'm going to pick the places that give me something that I can't get anywhere else. And yes, you can't get the Beast Castle anywhere else, but I feel like I said, once you've been in there and seen it, you've done it. But there's something about like the dynamics of being on Main Street USA where, every time you're going to sit out there, it's going to be different. You're going to see something different. You're going to hear something different and, eat carbs and drink red wine. Okay. Works for me.
I was trying to find a picture and I can't find it of that tower of garlic bread with the cheese sauce.
It
So I
looks like you're playing Jenga with garlic bread.
and it's like a Alfredo sauce more than a.
It's like, yeah, it's like a cheesy, like an Alfredo dipping.
It's so good.
It is really good.
I'll go to Tony's with you if we agree we can actually play Jenga with the garlic bread.
I'm telling you, it looks like Jenga. Totally.
I think Amy nailed it.
It'll fall down.
If you imagine in your mind a Disney commercial, like, they show Cinderella walking down the stairs at Grand Floridian. They also show stormtroopers in that lobby, but that's neither here nor there. If you imagine what a meal should be in your imagination on Main Street USA, the dream of eating with your children on Main Street USA, the aesthetic and the feel inside of Tony's is it. Hands down, you're looking out at everything that is the Magic Kingdom. And you said it yourself. It's a painting with light, Main Street USA work of art, especially at night as the sun's going down. It's an absolutely fantastic aesthetic. That's where nostalgia is made right there.
Can you see it? Can you tell?
For everyone who's listening, Kathleen is holding her phone up to the camera to show Phil what the garlic bread tower looks like. There it is.
All right, I'll give it
It's
another shot.
delicious.
Very delicious.
I'll be eating it in February.
I think in counterpoint to Scott, I've got to go with Skipper Canteen. Number one, you walk up to Skipper Canteen, you're walking through Adventureland. You see it in front of you. You've got that ceiling fan in the, what would we call that? A portico, I guess, spinning. You've got the rattan chairs circling everywhere. It's the one place where I don't feel harried when I'm trying to get to the hostess stand. There's not 18 people crowding into two little benches like some of the other restaurants. They're not backed up. You can sit in those chairs. They call your name. There's benches inside. There's plenty of seating out in front of the restaurant. Theming, especially if you're a Disney geek and you want to walk around that restaurant, hands down, Skipper Canteen has the absolute best theming, the best Easter eggs, the best little hidden gems. And hell, I'm a dad. I can't ever get past the dad jokes as they're walking you through. I can almost quote them word for word. There's only 8 or 10 of them that they say on the way to the table. The menu is what throws people, I think, because to read the menu, it seems like really exotic, crazy food. But when you look at the ingredients, it's just crazy names put to pretty reasonably good but standard fare. I go and you used to get the salad, the sirloin salad. That was phenomenal. The pot stickers are excellent. They had a pork dish that was excellent. The only knock I would throw at it is post COVID, they have trimmed the menu substantially, so there aren't as many selections as there used to be. But I think for quality versus price, for the aesthetic walking inside, and I could spend hours just wandering through there, looking at the titles of the books in the hallway, looking at the paintings, looking at all the little kitschy things that they collected from around the world to hang up on the walls. The doors up overhead that have everybody's name, the voices coming out of the doors. I think for me, hands down, it's just got to be Skipper Canteen. Now, with that said, you're kind of picking the best of the worst in Magic Kingdom, but that will always be our go-to if we decide we're going to dine inside the theme park.
So we've never been to Skipper Canteen.
I think it's because of the menu. I think
Yeah.
it's what Phil said. I look at the menu and it just seems pretty standard to me. But yeah, we got to give it a try.
I really enjoy it there as well, and I have had I mean, it's kind of, it's supposed to be like the place where the skippers of the Jungle Cruise boats go. And just like Jungle Cruise, sometimes the quality of your ride depends on the quality of your skipper. Same
entirely.
holds true at Skipper Canteen. The quality of your of the overall experience will depend on your server. I've had servers that have just nailed it. They, that they love working there and they are fully bringing you that experience, and some that are just bringing you your food. But as somebody who desperately misses the Adventurers Club, I love Skipper Canteen because it kind of has that feel. All of these treasures that are, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers have all gathered, and this is where they keep all of their things and have all of their books and all of their maps and everything. I think that the whole concept behind the restaurant is really fun, and the food every single time. I mean, I even got the whole fish there once, which probably horrify Kathleen. But the whole fish, face and all, looking at me,
No.
and that was delicious, and you wouldn't think that getting a whole fish in the Magic Kingdom would be something that was enjoyable, but I really enjoyed that, and I love one of the appetizers there, the cachapas, which, I'll read the description of them to you. I brought it up on my Disney experience, so let me
I just want to break in and say kungaloosh.
Kungaloosh. House-made corn pancakes, beer braised pork, roasted corn, Fresno pepper salsa, and avocado cream. Mwah. Just gave you the chef's kiss again, guys.
Amy and her chef's kiss.
Those things are delicious. I love it there. My kids love it there. It's just one of those experiences where it's like fun for the whole family, like you just go and everyone has a good time and the food is good and the atmosphere is so cool. So that's why if you had asked me a year ago, I would have said definitely number one was Skipper Canteen. But now Tony's really has I kinda feel like they're neck and neck because of the feels that I've recently been getting at Tony's, along with the garlic bread. Garlic bread is really bringing out the feels.
We'll have to give Skipper Canteen a try.
If I could come back in another life, I would come back as the person who was hired by Disney to travel around the world and buy the things that are up on the wall because that had to be just the greatest around the world journey ever.
I'm so
So fun.
fixated on the garlic bread. I thought you were going to say if you could come back, you would want to be a stack of garlic bread. There's nothing wrong with that either.
My secret inner desire.
So let's talk about some of the other restaurants then. So I mean, we touched on Be Our Guest and, the 2 that, I think Phil and I kind of both agree on, and you both agree that Tony is kind of probably maybe not number 1 for both of you, but up there. And so if you're on Main Street USA, you've got the Plaza restaurant on one side and you've got Crystal Palace on the other side. I've never eaten at the Plaza restaurant. It just doesn't seem like anything that would ever need to be a priority for me because it seems very basic, like burgers and fries and that type of stuff.
Yeah, we've never ate there.
Just the ice cream, and that's pretty much all, I don't think there's anything else I would want.
I've eaten there numerous times, so I can speak to that one. I would say 5 years ago, it was a great place to go with the kids. It was very simple, standard fare, but it was reasonably good, and the price point was excellent. We used to walk out of the plaza with a $75 dinner bill. Where in Disney can you walk out of a sit-down restaurant with a $75 dinner bill? Their club sandwich was a standard club sandwich, but it was very good. Their salads were very good. Their dessert was and still is very good. They've got a bread pudding. Their fries are terrible. They're just these frozen fries, the loaded fries. They throw some nasty cheese on top and some bacon bits, and they call it a meal. We used to traditionally go there almost every trip. Our last night would be that for dinner. specifically because we try and begin and end our trip in Magic Kingdom because the kids are little. That's slowly starting to change, but up until now, that has always been our MO. Sitting there, similar to Tony's, as you're waiting, you're on the old Tomorrowland Terrace. There's a lot going on. We'd book it for about 5 o'clock. At the time, the Move It, Shake It, Mouse It, Dance It street party used to come by at 5 o'clock, which was probably to date outside of Festival of Fantasy, my favorite daytime parade. I've got videos of it. There's videos of me just dancing along and singing to it. It's quite embarrassing. But I've got two words for you. Up
Well, I
until
sat
5
next
years
to you
ago,
watching Phantasmic, so you can't
these
be that
videos may
embarrassed.
surface. So up until 5 years ago, two words that made the plaza for me: bottomless milkshake. You used to buy a milkshake with your dinner, and when it got half empty, they would go next door, they would get you another one, and it would magically appear on your table. And anyone who knows me well knows that the secret way to my heart is through ice cream. You start throwing ice cream in front of me, and I am your best friend forever. So it was always good, and it was always very, very reasonable. You could get a 5 o'clock reservation there almost any time. You'd watch the parade, you'd go and you'd have some dinner. You were out of there by 6, and you could spend the rest of your night in Magic Kingdom enjoying yourself with the kids. The last 2 years, it has gone downhill so quickly. The quality of the food is terrible. The burger that shows up for my daughter, I think I actually asked the server the last time we were there what the name of the dog was that had to sacrifice their life for that burger. It was awful,
Hopefully, it wasn't Pluto,
and I
but
think it was 90 or $95 for a really not good dinner the last couple of trips. So this trip we've got coming up, it was stricken off our list. Even the kids don't want to do it anymore. So I think it used to be a reasonably good restaurant that was kind of a must do for us. And it's a we're not going to go back anytime again soon restaurant for us now.
well, you've solidified my decision to never go there.
Oh, and they don't do the bottomless milkshakes anymore. Now it's just an $8 single milkshake. So I'm out.
Oh, that ruins it.
What were you saying?
Let's talk about. I was thinking about the Crystal Palace because Amy had mentioned.
Scott wants to talk about poo.
Who doesn't want to talk about poo? That restaurant, I think, I don't know. We've had some really good
Hmm.
experiences there, and then we've had some not so good. But for a buffet, I mean, standard.
Same.
Yeah,
There's no in between with Crystal Palace. It's either an amazing meal with a fantastic buffet where everything is hot and fresh, or it's just terrible. And I've never had anything other than one of those two, and we've had both.
I
Yeah, we've
mean,
had both.
what they have to offer is good with the chicken and the peel and eat shrimp, and there's a lot of different things that you can get. But I really don't know if I prefer breakfast over dinner there because we've had breakfast a couple times and I thought it was really good. But as far as buffets, I think it's just kind of middle of the road for me.
I think that it's pretty unforgettable food at a $61 price tag per person, so
Did you
that
say
makes it
unforgettable?
unforgettable. Yeah, I mean, I've eaten there a couple times in the past few years, and I literally can't even tell you what I ate there. It was just so unforgettable and unremarkable. I mean, I think it was fine, but I don't have this memory of, like, even any ounce of what I ate. Like, I just ate the meal, and it became a memory.
Forgettable.
Who wants to tell her?
I'm sitting here trying to hold it back, but go ahead.
What?
It
I'm
was unforgettable, but you forgot all about it immediately.
pretty sure that would be what we call forgettable.
Well,
That's all
Funnily
right.
enough.
Funnily.
funnily enough, I'm describing things at least I'm consistent, okay? At least
Too
I'm
much
consistent.
Frangelico over the holiday season next to Polly.
Amy's like, oh, bother.
Well, speaking of which, I will say that I think that the character interaction there has been always really good when I've been there consistently. Um,
Agreed.
Agree.
and so that's really the reason to go. It's not the food, it's for the character interaction. And that's another place where, if somebody was asking me where should I go for a character meal in the parks, that's one of the places I would recommend because I think that the character interaction has always really been fun and cute. And every time I've been there, they come around more than once. They're very interactive. They kind of come up with like inside jokes with you. So when they come back, they bring it up again, and it's fun for that. But for $61, I would definitely do breakfast. That's just me in general. If I'm gonna do a character meal, I'm gonna pick breakfast over the other meals like 9 out of 10 times because of the price tag.
And we'll get to my favorite character breakfast in our next park, but that one is excellent. There's no doubt about it. But I think if you look at Magic Kingdom and you look at what the restaurants are that everybody goes to, it is Be Our Guest. The other hard to get is Cinderella's Royal Table, and there's Crystal Palace. And I don't think any of the three have really unforgettable food. I think they have good experiences, but I think all three survive on the fact that, or thrive on the fact that there's not a lot of choices in that park, and it's where you go to see characters. So everybody that goes for their once in a lifetime or their once every 3 or 5 year trip have to have those reservations. And
Wait a
that's what
second.
makes them successful.
Can we go back for a minute? Wait, did I say that the meal was unforgettable?
You did.
Twice.
Oh, yeah, I totally no. I'm
And
not
then you
consistent.
waxed poetic about how you
Yeah.
forgot all about it.
Oh, yeah, I did. I meant that it is completely forgettable, unremarkable. Don't remember a damn thing about it. So sorry. Yeah, and it took me a minute to even after you spelled it out for me. Sorry, that's it's late. It's 9:15, guys, you know?
4 hours later.
Anyway.
Scott and I were trying so hard to keep it bottled up inside.
Oh my gosh. So see, I might have nailed the intro, but now I can't even make sense when I speak. So, you know, anyway, sorry to cut you off. I just Cinderella's royal table, is that where we have
No, by all means, continue on with your epiphany, your self-realization. It's great.
Is okay. So
yeah.
what's next?
I think there's one restaurant that people are forgetting about, and it's actually up there for me with Be Our Guest.
Liberty Tavern,
I was gonna
Liberty
say
Tree
Liberty
It's
Tavern.
Tavern.
Liberty Tree Tavern. Everybody, much like Hall of Presidents, everybody forgets about this restaurant.
No, I mean it's fine.
It's good,
Because half of Hall of Presidents and half of what they serve hasn't been relevant since the 1800s.
but it's so good.
It's fine.
Ooey gooey toffee cake.
Eh,
That is the saving grace of that restaurant.
Oh yeah, to me, it's one of the ones. It's different. It's unique.
what is it? It is $42 a person.
$42 per person.
I mean, it's okay. I definitely wouldn't pick it over something else, but it's just okay to me. It's Thanksgiving dinner.
And who doesn't love Thanksgiving dinner?
Me. I think turkey is really an undesirable,
They also have
forgettable.
pot roast and pork for you unforgettable folks out there.
Unforgettable.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry. Now I'm
Natalie.
gonna
That was a trill.
I have not eaten at Liberty Tree Tavern in probably like 27 years. So
It hasn't
my
changed.
opinions are outdated.
That was very specific. 27 years.
Checks calendar. So you said there's one restaurant that we're forgetting, and I would say that there's another one that everyone's forgetting, and it came up in the episode Amy and I had when you were sick. There's another sit-down restaurant in Magic Kingdom that breaks my heart.
The Diamond Horseshoe review.
The Diamond Horseshoe, because it's not a review, it's just the Diamond Horseshoe.
Never
What
been
a
there.
waste.
Is it
Neither
still
have
open?
I. I've walked inside, but what a waste of incredible space, of incredible history, of incredible nostalgia. Think of Hoop to Do, a smaller show inside of Magic Kingdom with the same fried chicken, and what an amazing hit that would be. And instead, they give us the Diamond Horseshoe.
I thought they served the same food as Liberty Tree.
I think that was a post-COVID thing.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that they had different menus before COVID, but I might be mistaken. But I think I remember because those are 2 restaurants that are just have never been enticing to me, but I remember post-COVID people on social media, like, ranting about the fact that they had the same menu at both places. So I think that
Still the
it
case.
used to have a different menu, and then they just because I believe that they share a kitchen.
They share a wall, so yeah, they share a kitchen. It's the exact same menu because nothing says the Old West in the Diamond Horseshoe Review like the Saloon Feast, by the way, is It's going to sound familiar: roasted turkey, pot roast, and oven roasted pork with mashed potatoes, seasonal vegetables, stuffing, and house made mac and cheese. Because we
Yum.
all know how big of a holiday Thanksgiving was in Tombstone.
Well, what would you have them serving? Snake soup?
They could go with the same fried chicken that you used to find over at what was the buffet? It's escaping Trail's End, which used to be a must do for us. It was one of the only reasons I could actually countenance going over to the campground, that and the Tricircle D Ranch. But you could serve fried chicken. Heck, you could serve the exact same thing as Pecos Bills, but put it on a regular plate and make it seem more thematically appropriate than what they're serving there, and bring in a little show that would sell out every single night. People would be lining up for it. And instead, we have Thanksgiving dinner
In the Wild West.
in the not so Wild West. Hey, it's better than Disneyland where it's a quick service and they're giving you greasy chicken fingers across the counter, but not by much.
So we glossed over Cinderella's royal table. What does everyone think about that?
We've never been there.
I have.
Oh, you have. I've never been there.
Many, many, many years ago.
We have not been because I refuse to pay the price.
So I went there on my first trip ever when I was 14 years old, and it was literally the first thing that we did. We stayed at the Contemporary. We walked over. It was called King Stephen's
King Stephen's Dining Hall. That's why you saw me
or
make that face. I
banquet.
was going to
Yeah,
ask. It was King Stephen's back then. Yep.
but it was basically the same, it was the same dining room. It was, I think, probably like the same menu.
Yeah, nobody knew who King Stephen was. That's a true
Right.
story. Nobody knew who King Stephen was, so they had to rename the restaurant.
Well, and you know what? Give Cinderella some props. I mean, who the heck
It
is
is
King
her
Stefan? Why?
castle, for goodness
Yeah.
sake.
Why the heck should he be having the feast or whatever?
The misogyny is overwhelming.
Ugh, for real. Thank God somebody came to their senses. Um, so anyway, I think that it's like kind of a one and done for me, because it's very fun to be able to say that you ate inside Cinderella's castle. It's pretty cool looking in there. As I recall, the character interactions were fun, but it's kind of like be our guest for me. I would tell a first timer, pick one or the other, depending on which princess your kid likes more, and go there for the experience and then never go again. Because again, it's expensive. The quality of the food is does not match the price tag, but it is fun to be able to say that you got to eat inside Cinderella's castle. And I don't know if they've brought this back after COVID, but have they brought back that you get to, as part of your meal, take a picture with Cinderella?
I
I'm
think
not
so.
sure.
I think they did because when they first brought it back, there was one princess, and now I think they're back to all of the princesses with the picture with Cinderella. $84 per adult, by the way.
I'd like to.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a big ouch. But I'd like to go
I
at
was
least
just doing
once.
the math. $266 for me to go with my family.
No thanks.
For that kind of price, I want a night in the Dream Suite.
So I think we've touched on all of the table service at Magic Kingdom, right?
I think
I
so.
think so.
So I have to recap Magic Kingdom real quick. I think I know, but if somebody gave you a coupon and said, "Here's one free meal to any table service," what are you picking? Price doesn't matter. What are you picking? Here's a free coupon to eat wherever you want in Magic Kingdom.
We did talk about all of them, right?
I think so. Which one are you picking?
Table service.
Yep. Here's a coupon. You can eat anywhere in Magic Kingdom.
Well, I'm going to say Cinderella's royal table
Oh, now
because
we
no,
change.
because I've
Oh,
never been there and
mm.
I'd like to go. And if it's someone else is paying for it, I'm gonna go.
So much for that garlic bread. All right. Amy?
I gave you my reasons, and that's why.
Very good. Amy?
I think that I'm gonna go with Tony's.
How about you, Phil?
Am I going by myself or am I taking my family?
You get to take your family.
Then I've got to go with Kathleen because it would make my daughter's night to do Cinderella's royal table, but I would do it under protest and only because I love my children. If it were myself or me and Emily, or myself, Emily, and my son, it's Skipper Canteen all day long. but just knowing what my daughter's little face would be to be in the castle, I would end up at Cinderella's royal table.
Scott, are you be our guest?
I'm Be Our Guest. I'm the only one that stayed the same, and it's just because of the gray stuff.
You're the only one that was willing to pay far too much for a meal in the first place.
It's it's expensive, but it's not as bad as Cindy's.
This is true. But you guys are friends now. You're besties, Cindy.
So we're at 41 minutes and we haven't talked about Animal Kingdom at all.
Wait a minute. You
Do we
didn't
think
pick.
we can squeeze them in?
Shoot, Animal Kingdom's only going to take 5 minutes anyway.
There's not that much there. I've got one pick at Animal Kingdom for a sit down that I think is phenomenal, and that's it.
All
What are we
right.
going to talk
What
about?
is it?
Rainforest Cafe?
I forgot about Rain. I didn't even have that on the list.
How can you forget about Rainforest Cafe at Animal Kingdom?
Oh my god.
So, I mean, as far as Animal Kingdom goes, you said that one of the best character interactions was at Crystal Palace. For me, if we're going to go do a character meal, and we've done it in the past, and we'll still do it in the future, I'm going to Tusker House for breakfast. You get as close to the Fab Five as you're going to get outside of that awful, deplorable, nasty Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary.
Oh
They
wow.
have by far remind me to tell you my Chef Mickey story.
We are
I've
gonna
never paid
fight.
so much to be so disgusted in all my life.
There's
I'll tell
gonna
you the story, you'll
there's gonna be a
understand.
whole episode about this now because oh boy. Okay. Phil just pushed a button and it was the
Did
wrong
that
button.
precede the contemporary bathroom
No, that was
story?
totally different. Okay, so I'll backtrack just for a second. So we went to Chef Mickey's, the kids were little. It was in the middle of the dinner rush, I get it. It was an hour and 25 minutes past our reservation before we were seated. We were seated in that little half upper level. We did not get all of the characters. We were basically told, "We're sorry, we're busy. They're just not going to make it to your table." The table itself was disgusting. And when I say the amount of food that was still under the table when we were seated, it would have taken a commercial vacuum to clean it all out. There were at least one or two sittings worth of everything under our table, under our chairs. I refused to put my bag on the floor. It was
Oh,
that disgusting. I'd say a third of the food was empty and it just wasn't getting refilled. And what I pulled from the buffet was tepid. We went once and I was so horrified with the experience, we never went back. I get that it's a one, maybe in a million chance. I get other people have amazing experiences. It was bar none, hands down, the absolute worst meal I have ever, ever had on Disney property. It was
that's horrible.
terrible.
Next time you're down, Phil, I am taking you to Chef Mickey's.
It's a date, me and you, buddy.
Me and you, Chef Mickey's.
And you better get on video, you guys twirling your napkins over your head.
Biscuits in the oven.
It's the common reaction. When I say I hate Chef Mickey's, everyone gives me the same look. I literally have never paid so much money to be nauseous and sick to my stomach at a meal. It was, and I'm not the kind of person who goes to guest relations. I paid the bill, I shut my mouth. The kid got to see most of the characters, and we went on our merry way. But if I were one of those people, I would have pulled up a cot at guest relations to complain about that restaurant visit.
You
Mm.
You
said this was
won't
a while ago.
complain to guest services, but you will speak about it scathingly for the rest of your life.
They're just those people that, regardless of what happens, we were supposed to get 47 French fries on our plate, and instead we got 45. So I want 3 fast passes and my entire stay comped. I can't be that person. What was your question, Scott? You had asked something.
You said that was a long time ago. Was that
So
pre-COVID?
yeah, it was pre-COVID. I want to say it was probably around 2017-ish, somewhere in that vicinity. The kids were really little at the time, but we have not been back since. It was that bad.
Post-COVID, I think it's gone through a major transformation.
That's good to know.
And we did
It's
a
had a
dining review
it's
there.
had a glow up.
It's
It's
I'm
been
telling you.
plussed.
Yeah, it's got an upgrade, but I was really surprised. I think you were too. I was shocked
Yes.
how good that meal
Well,
was.
for those of you who are interested, Kathleen and Scott's Chef Mickey's dining review is on our YouTube channel. So check it out at DVC Clubhouse.
Yeah,
And while you're
that
at it, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok Anyway, shall we move back to Animal Kingdom
So
after
back
that
to Animal Kingdom.
commercial break?
The hands down, outside of Boma, hands down, the best buffet I have ever been to on property is the breakfast buffet at Tusker House. It's expansive. There's every kind of breakfast food you could imagine and probably 30 breakfast foods you couldn't imagine. They're all delicious. They've got an entire table that's just pastries and donuts and bread. They've got a giant fruit selection. They've got every breakfast food you could just possibly think of. It's all hot. It's always been excellent. We have never once been rushed out of that restaurant. And you get to see, I think, the better part of the Fab Five, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not cheap, but it's not the most expensive buffet on property, especially for breakfast. It's a phenomenal meal. For as much as I will crap all over Chef Mickey's, I will sing to the heavens the praises of Tusker House for breakfast.
I love Tusker
I just had
House.
a visual image of that, by the way.
No, Tusker House is a really good buffet. I like the breakfast more than I like the dinner, I think. But I love going there because Donald and Daisy are there, and I think the character interaction is really nice. No, we never feel rushed being in that restaurant.
No,
And
it's a different
and
experience
for
there.
a buffet, there's a lot of options on that buffet, even for dinner. But I definitely do like the breakfast there.
I was gonna say for lunch and dinner, it's $1 more expensive than Crystal Palace.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But you don't get to play with poo.
Yeah.
They have better characters at
But if you
Tusker.
crap all over Chef Mickey's, then you can.
Incidentally, the only time I've witnessed a code brown at Disney was in the bathroom of Crystal Palace. They shut down the whole side of the restaurant. It was so terrible. And it was
Oh
not one of
Oh,
my kids. I just need to point that
oh
out.
my gosh, that is terrible. So it has been a minute since I've eaten at Tusker House, and honestly, I can't remember if I ate there
Wait a
when
minute.
it was a
You knew
buffet.
that it was exactly 27 years, 4 months, 3 days, and 2 hours from one meal, but it's just been a minute since Tusker House. You can't recall.
No, well, because I don't remember if I actually ate there when it was a buffet. But what I will say is when I did the Wild Africa trek last year, the food that they give you on that trek is prepared in the Tusker House kitchen. And every morsel of food that I ate on that Wild Africa trek was absolutely delicious. I was blown away. And look, we're talking like finger foods, like sandwiches and hummus and, but everything was absolutely delicious. And they did not tell us that until after we ate and everyone was raving about it. And then they, said, fun fact, this was prepared by the, chefs at Tusker House. At that moment, I was like, I really gotta get there. I just really have I'm like anti-buffet, and that's my problem, is that the price tag for buffets is just so high. And I have
But
trouble.
it's all you care to enjoy.
I know, but I care to enjoy a plate of food, not 10. So, for some people, it is a great value. For me, it's just not the way I dine, like I'm the person who's heartbroken about California Grill because I would rather order 6 appetizers than, one entree. And I want to like have little samples of everything and then that's enough.
I will say one thing that the one time that the dining plan makes sense, at least in my calculations, and I have some pretty in-depth spreadsheets, is if you've got little kids and you're going to do character buffets for the entire trip, that is the only time that a dining plan makes financial sense.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that recently because I was hearing people talk about how they buy it specifically so they can pick like the most expensive dining experiences and use 2 meal credits. And whether it's like an $81 meal or a $42 meal, it's 2 meal credits. But yeah, so Tusker House is definitely one that I need to get back to. So because the menu is right up my alley and I know that I would love it. And based on that Wild Africa track, I'm sure that it's excellent. So have you guys eaten at Tiffin's?
We
Never.
haven't.
I haven't been there yet.
I love Tiffin's. I think Tiffin's is really honestly, I think that it might be in my top 3 theme park restaurants at Walt Disney World. It's just really excellent, and I feel like you can usually always get a reservation there. You know, for anybody who's gone to Nomad Lounge, you can order some of the Tiffin's menu items at the lounge, and all of those items are delicious, and their expanded dining room menu is just as good. And just like everything else in Animal Kingdom, Tiffin's is really well thought out. They have like these different rooms that represent different parts of the culture, and kind of similar, Phil, to what you were saying about Skipper Canteen. Just have art and artifacts that just really make the experience. This is not in your face kind of like Skipper Canteen, but just these like subtle touches that tell a story of the culture. And so I really love it there, and I think that that's a very overlooked, probably one of the most overlooked restaurants on property.
I'm looking at the menu now. It's not inexpensive, but it's not out of control for what you get. The menu looks very good, actually, from the appetizers through the entrees, straight down to the desserts. I think the reason it's never crossed our radar is I've made no secret of the fact that I never make it past 12 or 1 o'clock in Animal Kingdom before I'm ready to throw in the towel. So we've never been there for dinner.
Well, you can eat there for lunch, and it's the same menu.
Yeah, I don't eat that heavy for lunch, and I think that's why it's never popped up. But the menu
Well,
is really good, and it's got whole fried sustainable fish, Kathleen, your favorite.
Oh,
They
yay.
can smile at you from the plate.
I'll pick it up and give it a kiss.
No.
I have pictures. A friend of mine does that all the time, and she's gotten me in the habit. So now every time I eat a whole fish, I take a picture, looking like I'm giving it a kiss, because it's the little fish mouth.
Has anybody else seen these photos? I need these photos in my life.
I'll send you guys one.
You know that meme I always send you of the little girl? That's how I'm
Yeah,
I'm thinking right now. It's like,
the little girl in the car seat
yeah.
with the look of disgust.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as much as I really enjoy Tusker House, because I really do enjoy that restaurant, I did not pick that as my number one. I picked Yak and Yeti. We've been there a few times. I've gotten something different every time. I thought it was really good. I like the atmosphere in there. It's pretty cool design. I like how it has 2 levels. I don't know. I really liked it there, and I think it's pretty inexpensive.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I
like
got to
it.
say about that. But it's just okay. I'll pick Tusker House over Yak and Yeti, but yeah, Yak and Yeti, they've got some pretty unique offerings. I like the dessert that they have. The Somebody help me out. The dumplings, are they like the wontons?
It was like strawberry wontons or
Their
something.
menu is huge.
They have a really good dessert there, yeah. But I don't know. I think it's just okay. I want to try. They have that outdoor quick service that I think would be good. But yeah, I guess if I'm gonna pick a restaurant, I'm gonna go to Tusker House before Yak and Yeti.
Well, you're not always in the mood for a buffet. I mean, you're paying a hefty price, and you have to really be hungry to eat at a buffet.
Yeah, but like I said, they have that outdoor quick service at Yak and Yeti now, so I think I would just try something there
Mm-hmm.
before I actually sit down for a whole meal. But at least at Tusker House, I know I'm gonna get something that I
Right.
like. Plus, I get to have fun with Donald.
I'm going to Yak and Yeti for all 5 desserts.
What are
Good
they?
lord, they look good.
What are they?
So you've got the fried wontons, which is what you referenced. That's
Yeah.
skewers of fresh pineapple and cream cheese wontons,
That's
vanilla
it.
ice cream, and a
So
honey
good.
vanilla drizzle, a pineapple upside down cake, mango key lime cheesecake, New York cheesecake, and a chocolate pudding cake with raspberry sauce. Just yes, please to all 5.
Yeah, the wontons are really good. That's the one dessert that really stood out. And I don't even remember what I got for an entree now that I'm thinking about it.
It was unforgettable.
It was very unforgettable.
So Yak and Yeti kind of reminds me of PF Chang's in terms of like the type of food, the quality of the
Ouch.
food,
Wow.
which is like to me it's like a more like upscale chain Chinese food. Like that's what it feels like for me. It's not
Glorified mall
like
food.
yeah, it's not like quite a mall Chinese food court restaurant. It's a little bit more upscale than that. But to me, the draw of Yak and Yeti is how awesome it looks in there. It's so cool looking in there.
It
The
is.
design is great. It has all these different rooms. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you've like entered into something that's like has meaning, even though they built it for a theme park. Like it feels like it
Right.
was there and it's old and, ancient and very cool. Their bar has really fun drinks. Like I kind of think to your point, Phil, Animal Kingdom is difficult because first of all, they have such good quick service options there. Even their carts, their food carts have good food. So,
It's the only park you can actually get some fruit in the afternoon if you just want fruit. It's the only park other than the banana and bruised apples in Liberty Square. It's the only place to get fruit, period.
well, and that street corn that they sell in Harambe is really delicious. But I think that Yak and Yeti is good. I mean, I just don't think that I really often want to make the time investment at Animal Kingdom to sit down. And so, I mean, are those the only 3? Yak and Yeti, Tusker House, and
Rainforest Cafe,
Right.
Rainforest.
baby.
Let's not
oh,
forget about Rainforest.
Yeah, we don't eat often. We don't eat table service often at Animal Kingdom. We usually go to Nomad Lounge. Every time we're in Animal Kingdom, we're at Nomad. They have good drinks, they have good appetizers. I mean, I could get full at Nomad just eating off their menu. Other than that, we don't eat too much table service there.
Mainly quick service at the parks.
Right.
It also doesn't help that that park closes down at 7 p.m. for over half the year.
Yeah.
I feel like a fun thing to do is, a lot of people, because they consider Animal Kingdom a half day park, they rope drop it and then leave at around lunchtime. I think that a good strategy could be to go for the back half of the day and have dinner at Tiffin's and then be able to be at Pandora at night, because that's the one thing that I feel like, because I always leave Animal Kingdom during the day, I'm missing out on some of, like, the coolest parts of that park, because that park at night, Pandora is obviously awesome. Tree of Life at night looks really cool. That park has something to offer at nighttime that I think a lot of people just bypass. So, I don't know, maybe that's something to consider, is making if you do consider it a half-day park, I mean, you probably need to buy Genie Plus for this so that you can, if you wanna ride the big rides there, buy it, stack your rides so that you can show up, bang those rides out, go to Tiffin's, get to see Pandora at night. It's just like a different way to do it. I mean, I think overall, Animal Kingdom is pretty strong when it comes to dining. I don't think that there's anything there that I would say, like, "This is absolutely disgusting." All I think all of while I don't
Rainforest Cafe.
we don't count it. Clearly, we don't count it. It's not even in the park. It's outside the park. It's literally before you go. You don't even need theme park entrance to get into it. So it doesn't even count. It's in the parking lot of Animal Kingdom.
I'm all for disregarding Rainforest
It's
Cafe, but
it's
you said
behind the
there's nothing
restroom.
disgusting there. It is behind the restroom.
I will tell you, when Animal Kingdom first opened, and I went for the first time ever, and was just, Rainforest Cafe was a new concept, and they had it there, and it felt like was like so like synergistic to the theming of the park. And I don't really know when Animal Kingdom first opened what other table service there was, because I think when Animal Kingdom opened, Tusker House was a quick service, and Tiffin's and Nomad Lounge were not there. Yak and Yeti, I don't know. I don't know if Yak and Yeti was an opening day restaurant. I don't think it was, because I don't even think Asia was open. So I think Rainforest Cafe might have been like the only table service restaurant at Animal Kingdom when that park opened. And I ate there. It was my first time eating there. I thought it was really cool. And we walked from the restaurant and into the park from that entrance through, you can enter into the park through Rainforest Cafe. And there was a bar out there that had bar stools that looked like animal butts, and I, like, thought it was so cute, and at this time, I mean, how old was I? I was recently 21, I guess.
27 years
Is that
ago.
right? That would be about right, 26. But I always was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come back here one day, and I'm gonna sit at this bar, and I'm gonna have a drink." And that was in what, like 1999 when the park opened? Is that when it opened? When did that park open? 2000? No, it was 1998, 99. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they just had their 30th, so it had to be right in there.
So I said that then, and I had that drink at that bar for the first time last year. I never went back and had the drink there. And when I went and I did it just because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I said when I was, 20 years old that when I could drink, I'd come back here and have a drink. And when I walked out here, I was like, this place is so underwhelming. What was I so enamored by? And maybe it's changed, but yeah, I don't ever set foot in that Rainforest Cafe.
No. What did you pick?
There's a lot of things I thought were cool at 20 and 21 that I wouldn't be caught dead doing now, so
No.
it makes sense.
Did you pick Tusker House, Scott?
No, I picked Flame Tree Barbecue.
No, you didn't.
I can't pick it because it's quick service.
Yeah.
No, I would pick Tusker House.
Tusker House.
That's my choice. Hands down, Tusker House. But I haven't tried Tiffin, so I can't really. 1/3 of the restaurants I haven't technically tried at Animal Kingdom.
And I mean, Nomad Lounge is a lounge, but it is kind of table service because they do take your order and bring it to your table, and I just love it there. So I mean, if
Me
if
too.
if we're counting that, then Nomad Lounge is my number one. But if
Same.
we're not counting it because technically it's a lounge, then I'm going with Tiffin's.
I have to give Yak and Yeti an honorable mention, and I've never eaten there. I'm just scrolling through the menu, and when I say scrolling, I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling.
You're gonna
This has
give
gotta be one of
yourself
the
carpal
biggest
tunnel.
menus. It's gotta be one of the biggest menus on property. I'm flabbergasted.
It's like Cheesecake Factory. It's like a dictionary full of food.
Speaking of overpriced mall food.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I think overall, Animal Kingdom has like really solid dining options, table service. I'd be happy eating at any of them, but overall, I really am happy to just kind of eat around Animal Kingdom the way that I eat around World Showcase.
Right.
So any final thoughts about Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom?
Do you have any final thoughts? I don't think I have any.
I
No.
just think theme park restaurants, probably like Phil said, I mean, when you have the ability to walk or take a short boat ride over to the resort restaurants, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to do that if you're an experienced Disney goer. But if it's your first time, a lot of those places that we mentioned, you have to try them. Your Tusker Houses and your Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest, they may not be the best quality food, but they're definitely something that you just have to try one time just to get the experience. And there's really nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, if I'm going to pick between a theme park restaurant and a resort restaurant, I know where I'm going.
Well, and I think that's how they really honestly get away with charging the prices they do. Like 81 bucks for Cinderella's Royal Table. They get away with that because they know that first time people or people who come once every 5 to 6 years, they will splurge for a special meal. Those restaurants are not targeting DVC members. I mean, there might be DVC members who it's their favorite, but for the most part, we are all kind of happy to find the places like Nomad Lounge or Geyser Point or, the places where we feel we can get a quick bite and sit and be away from the crowds.
Right.
Guys, any last thoughts before Amy wraps it up?
Well, Phil, why don't you tell people what to do if they like our content?
Well, if you've enjoyed listening to us, or really, I don't care if you haven't enjoyed listening to us, give us a like on Apple Podcast. Amy has a cat behind her. Give us a like on Apple Podcast. 5-star review, just one word, anything that really drives traffic in our direction so other people can join in on our meandering shenanigans.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Let us know on our Facebook page what restaurants you love, what you hate, what your opinions are, if you think we're nuts, if you agree with us. And until next
You're
time, we'll
nuts.
DVC. What'd you say?
You're nuts.
We're
You're
unforgettable.
unforgettable.
Thank you.
We will DVC you real soon.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Bye.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page one and do it all over again?
We started this thing together.
And that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.
Happily ever